Assalamu alaikum, dear viewers. This is Aisha Qureshi, and welcome to my channel Immersive English. Today, we are going to study something related to literature. I hope, viewers, you all love reading poems, and maybe some of you enjoy reciting them as well. You must have studied many poems in English literature course. You must have noticed that poems are different in style, manner, and tone in which they have been composed. What makes poems unique and different are actually literary devices, or we may call them poetic devices. This is what I'm going to teach you today. I will also try my level best to make the concept easy as well and interesting for you. When we study any specific poet, we observe what tactics he uses to create a masterpiece. A poet needs to use high order words to create charm in his verses. These words should please listeners' ears as well as convey the message of the writer. In short, an impressive poem demands a good arrangement of words. The poet uses proper plans or methods to arrange these words, and these plans or methods are known as literary or poetic devices. Now, I will teach you some widely used literary devices. Before we get into the video, please like and subscribe my channel, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss any of my upcoming lessons. The first poetic device we're going to do is similes. A simile is a type of figurative language that describes something by comparing it to something else with the words as or like. I repeat, with the words as or like. For example, as brave as a lion. Viewers, we all know that lion is a symbol of bravery, and if someone is brave, courageous, or bold, he or she is compared with a lion. Let's examine a few more examples. As easy as ABC, as good as gold, as cold as ice, as old as the hills, as playful as a kitten. Let's examine a few examples with like. Like a leopard, she ran and crossed the finishing line. She moved like a deer. It seems she walks elegantly and beautifully. Next on the list is metaphor. A metaphor is a poetic device that describes an object or an action in a way that is not exactly true, but gives an idea or makes a comparison. It may appear little strange as their literal interpretation is entirely different from actual meaning. You must have read Shakespeare's famous poem, All the World's a Stage. He opens the poem with a metaphorical expression. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. Let's observe a few more examples. Her eyes were fireflies, means her eyes shone and sparkled. The kids were monkeys on the jungle gym. Doesn't mean that the children were actually monkeys, but they were jumping and swinging like monkeys. Let's understand personification now. Personification is a literary device in which an idea or an object is given human attributes or feelings. We can say that they are common form of metaphors in which human characteristics are attributed to non-human things. Many writers use it for composing children's literature because it raises imagination for understanding. Let's study a few examples. The moon smiled at the stars in the sky. Smiling is a human attribute given to moon, which is non-living object. Next example is a verse from William Blake's beautiful poem. The verse is, "Ah, William, we're weary of weather," said the sunflowers, shining with dew. In this beautiful verse, the sunflowers are talking to the poet. They are weary and tired of being outside and want to change places. It is obvious sunflowers can't walk, so William uses personification to give these characteristics to them. Next on the list is alliteration. Alliteration is a literary device in which a series of words begin with the same consonant sound. Alliteration is a very useful sound device used in various types of literature, but mostly in poetry. Businesses and advertisers use alliteration to provoke people's attention. Many popular quotes and sayings, they're widely used because they create rhythm and musicality. People also easily memorize them. Alliteration can give a poem a peaceful, serene, relaxing feeling, or maybe a loud, strong feeling. For example, the companies use alliteration. Let me name a few of them: Dunkin' Donuts, Best Buy, Coca-Cola, Donald Duck. Let me share a few more examples. The big, bulging burglar stole everything. Little Lily loitered around. Alliteration can create or compose very interesting tongue twisters. I hope you understood alliteration. Hyperbole. Hyperbole is a poetic device that uses extreme exaggeration to make a point or show greater emphasis. It is the opposite of understatement. We can use hyperbole in literature or everyday speech, but it won't work in non-fiction such as articles, reports, or research papers, as they are written in simple formal manner. Let's discuss a few examples of hyperbole. I have a million things to do today. Lunch break will never come. The athlete ran faster than a car. He's as big as an elephant. These statements are similes as well. Another one is an idiomatic expression, but this is an excellent example of hyperbole. It is raining cats and dogs. Dear viewers, hyperbole is a very interesting figurative speech as it can create dramatic effect in the text. Understatement. An understatement is a figure of speech used by writers or speakers to intentionally make a situation seem less important than it actually is. This can be done for ironic effect or to be humble and polite. Let me share a few examples with you. After winning a bumper prize, an understatement would be, I'm kind of happy. Another example, a guest at your table breaks a plate and you comment to console him, it's hardly noticeable or it hardly matters. Your expensive car bumps into a tree and you compensate the loss saying, It's only a small loss. We use understatement to create humor. They lower down severity of a situation and draw attention of a reader. I have already mentioned that hyperbole is the opposite of understatement. Dear viewers, I hope you understood the concept. Next on the list is onomatopoeia. Whoosh, pop, boom, poof, bang. All of these words are examples of onomatopoeia. They refer to words whose pronunciation imitates the sound they describe. When balloons are popped, they sound pop, which is an example of onomatopoeia. Dogs bark or a cat's mew, cars honk, growl of wind are also very fine examples of onomatopoeia. They are used to create oral effects that mimic the visual things being described. They let the readers feel the depth of the text. They also make the text interesting and brings action and excitement. Next on the list is irony. Irony is when there are two contradicting meanings of the same situation, event, or image. Irony is often used for humorous or critical effect in literature. People often use verbal irony to express emotions, humor by saying the opposite of what they mean to somebody who is expected to identify the irony. Let's discuss a few examples of situational irony. A fire station burns down. This is so unusual as a fire station has all equipment to put out the fire. But things went so wrong that it couldn't save itself. Another example is a pilot has a fear of heights. This is an ironic statement because a pilot spends a lot of time flying high in air. The third example is the cobbler's children have no shoes. A cobbler must have all stuff to make shoes, but his own children have no shoes. This is really very sad. Now, I will share an example of verbal irony with you. When standing in a filthy room, you comment, "Oh, you keep your house very clean." Irony is not merely to criticize or negatively comment over social evil, but its aim is to improve the situation and settle the disputes. Next on the list is pun. A pun is a literary device that is also known as plan on words. Puns create words with similar or identical sounds, but with different meanings. Puns are commonly thought to be humorous, but sometimes they touch upon a very serious subject as well in literary works. I will share some examples of pun found in everyday conversation. Sarah's kitten is near the laptop to keep an eye on the mouse. Viewers, if you deeply focus on the statement, the confusion between which mouse are we referring is creating a humorous situation. Here is another example of pun found in a joke. The joke is, what do you call an alligator wearing a vest? Investigator. Shakespeare has used puns to create humor in his plays and reveal themes. I hope you all can understand the power of puns. It portrays her regrets over the murder of innocent King Duncan. Let me share a few more examples with you. A dove is a symbol of peace. A ladder often stands as a symbol of connection. In Chinese culture, red color symbolizes prosperity and wealth. Owls symbolize wisdom. A bear might represent courage or danger. Symbolism is often used in colors. White color stands for life and purity. Purple is a royal color. Yellow symbolizes violence or downfall. I hope you have completely understood symbolism. Let's move ahead. Next on the list is imagery. Imagery is a language used by poets, novelists, and other writers to create images in the minds of readers. Imagery adds a figurative and metaphorical language to enhance and beautify the reader's experience throughout their senses. Here are 5 types of imagery used in writing, and they are easy to grasp. Number 1 is auditory imagery. It describes what we hear. Second one is visual. See. Third one is tactile imagery. It shows what we touch. Number 4 is olfactory imagery. It describes what we smell. And number 5 is gustatory imagery. It describes what we smell. Dear viewers, imagery allows readers to directly sympathize with the characters and narrators as they imagine having the same sense experience. Let me share a few examples with you. The words were lovely, dark, and deep. This is an example of visual imagery. The aroma of cheesecake invited all of us. Yes, you got it right. This is an example of sense of smell. I ran my hands on soft, silky fabric. It appeals to our sense of touch. Everyone admired the taste of juicy mangoes. Yes, it highlights our sense of taste. It was lovely to hear the chirping of bird. It describes auditory imagery. Next on the list is oxymoron. Oxymoron is a figure of speech pairing 2 words together that are opposing or contradictory. Oxymoron create a dramatic impression, highlight a concept, and obviously entertain the reader. Let me share a few examples with you. An original copy. Original and copy are pairing opposite words. Only choice. Virtual reality. Terribly good. Close distance. Living history. She looked awfully gorgeous in her wedding dress. Let me share an example of oxymoron from literature. Why then, O brawling love, O loving hate, O anything of nothing, first create, O heavy lightness, serious vanity, mishapen chaos of well-seeming forms, feather of lead, bright smoke, cold fire, sick health. Still, waking sleep, that is not what it is. This love feels I, that feel no love in this. Dost thou not love? Here in the above lines, we can see how contradictory words put together, like loving hate, bright smoke, cold fire, sick health, waking sleep. We can easily find many oxymoron words in these lines. I hope you have understood it. Let me explain satire now. Satire is a technique used by writers to expose and criticize the foolish attitude, dishonesty, and corruption of an individual, a group of people, or a society. A satire may be humorous or witty piece of writing which makes fun of people. Mark Twain has used satire a lot in his novel The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. He uses his thoughts and opinion in satirical way, exposing slavery, human nature, and many other social issues. Next on the list, we have repetition. Repetition is a literary device that represents the same words or phrases a few times to make an idea more vivid, clearer, and more memorable. Let me share a few beautiful examples of repetition with you. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Oh, woeful, oh, woeful, woeful, woeful. These lines have been taken from a very popular play of Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet. Let me share another example with you. And miles to go before I sleep. And miles to go before I sleep. So, you might remember these beautiful words. These are the ending lines of world famous poem written by Robert Frost, Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. Let me explain rhyme to you now. A rhyme is a repetition of similar sounding words occurring at the end of verses in poems or songs. Through rhyme, a poet utilizes repeating patterns that adds rhythm or music to poems. Rhyme also differentiate between prose and poetry. It makes memorization very easy. All nursery rhymes contain rhyming words so that even the toddlers could start singing them. I'm sure you have not forgotten many nursery rhymes you learned as a child. Let me share some examples with you. Mary had a little lamb. Its fleece was white as snow. And everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. Here, snow and go make a rhyming pair. Another example. Rock-a-bye, baby, you're fast asleep. When my God made you, his love ran so deep. When you grow up, may you hear his call, and he will protect you. Trust him in all. Here, asleep and deep, call and all make a rhyming pair. Next on the list, we have idioms. An idiom is a phrase that means something different from the literal meaning of the words in the phrase. Let me share a few idioms with their correct explanation. Caught red-handed. It means to be caught in the act of doing something wrong. Another idiom is at the drop of a hat. It definitely means without any hesitation. Let me share with you another idiom. Best of both worlds. It means that you are wishing someone all the benefits. Now I will share with you a very popular idiom. Don't judge a book by its cover. It means don't fall for appearance. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. It means don't use all your resources in one go. Every cloud has a silver lining. It means you should be optimistic, as better days will surely come. Last but not the least, kill two birds with one stone. It means to do two tasks at the same time. Tone is also a very important literary device. A tone is the kind of sound you hear in a musical note or in a person's voice, live or in writing. A newspaper article or a magazine article should be objective, but a poem can bring all kinds of emotions depending on the tone. The word tone often refers to sound, as in music, or the feeling conveyed by the way someone speaks. Let me share an example with you. The tone of my father told me that he was sad and dejected. Tone can also be used to describe the atmosphere of a place, its flavor or spirit, or the shade of meaning in a work that might reveal the larger intentions of a writer. The tone in a story indicates a particular feeling. That feeling can be joyful, harmonious, serious, witty, sad, threatening, enthusiastic, formal or informal, pessimistic or optimistic. Your tone in writing will be reflective of your mood as you are writing. Tone in writing is not really any different than the tone of your voice. You know that sometimes it is not what you say, but how you say it. Examples of tone in a story include just about any adjective you can imagine: depressing, smart, worried, foolish. I hope you have understood the concept well. I have tried my level best to explain the literary devices in the easiest and the simplest way possible. I will always welcome your feedback and comments. If there is any query, please comment down below. Keep on using these literary devices in your writing for better results. If your writing seems dull and lifeless, maybe all it needs is a lovely little literary devices cleverly placed to keep your reader interested and excited. All you need to do is to use your literary devices very cleverly, as each literary device has its own tricks and benefits, and no one is perfect at all of them. But the only way to improve is through patient practice. Try to learn a new technique every week or so and incorporate it into your own everyday writing. All your favorite authors and writers use literary devices, and if you pay close attention, you can keep track of them as you read. As you get good at recognizing literary devices, try to see how the author or the poet uses many different devices to contribute to the overall effect of the story or poem. Whenever you write, you're using literary devices, sometimes unconsciously as well. That is why some of these techniques are such a natural part of everyday speech that they slip into our writing as well. Thank you so much, dear viewers, for your time. I wish you best of luck. Stay blessed. Allah Hafiz.